Almost 100 years later, why are we still talking about Pultecs? Western Electric developed the passive EQ in the 1930s to allow music to work across a typical telephone system. Think about it. Boost a little bottom, boost a little top, filter out some of the extreme frequencies on either end. It makes sense. The telephone has a limited bandwidth by design. Pultec incorporated Western Electric's EQ into their products, and then Manley came along and took it even farther. So why do we like what we've come to know as the Pultec-style EQ? Let's approach this from the perspective of the Manley Stereo Pultec. First, the EQ section is passive. Obviously, if the entire thing was, it wouldn't require a power cable. The passive design utilizes fewer components with no op amps or transistors. Of course, the shorter the signal path and fewer the sonic obstacles, the less sullied the sound. Secondly, the curves are wide. Just like hiking up a mountain, if it's steep, you'll feel it. If it's gradual, you might not. Both paths will get you there, but one simply less noticeably. And in the case of the EQ, more musically with less artifacts. Third, we dig the way transformers saturate the low end euphonically. There is some intrinsic human connection with this musical resonance, like banging on animal skin drums around a fire back when we were all homo habilis. Or perhaps it was something to do with the magnetic core of the Earth. Okay now, let's reel it on in before I wander off into a point of origin Freaktown tale. Look, we get to cut and boost the same frequency simultaneously. Madness, you say? The original Pultec manual agreed and stated only one or the other should be used at a time. But that's like forbidden fruit to a recording engineer, so of course it's become standard practice to never use one without the other. There are slightly different curves, so the interaction changes the outcome dramatically. You've undoubtedly heard of the Pultec trick, where boosting the bass guitar leaves a frequency divot to drop the kick drum into, or vice versa, without muddying up the mid-range. The mid-high section is boost only. As the bandwidth widens, the boost lessens since you're moving so much energy. The bandwidth also narrows slightly as you move the frequency higher. The high frequency cut is a shelving EQ that provides continuously variable cut all the way down to minus 21 dB. Some advantages over the original are the addition of more frequencies to choose from. And we know more is better. 5 for bass versus 4, 11 for the mid-highs versus 7, and 5 for the highs versus 3. Since it's passive, this beast requires an amplifier. And guess what? Manley knows how to build amplifiers. So we deployed an all-tube gain block with 31 dB of oomph. 4 triodes are used for flat Class A gain stages and simplicity. The VoxBox actually uses a very similar design. This is all baked together with top-shelf ingredients: conductive plastic potentiometers, sealed gold contact switches, polystyrene and rolled film and foil capacitors, stiff power supply, and of course, our own custom-wound transformers. If you want to bypass the transformers and speed up your signal, you can use the quarter-inch inputs and outputs. You can even go in XLR and out quarter-inch, or in quarter-inch and out XLR to leverage just the input or output transformer. Now we're cooking with extra virgin traceable audio olive oil. Stick around for the demo.